Happy solstice. I am literally still in my pajamas. I was like, I should get changed for the video, but then I was like, you know what? You are enough, exactly as you are. I'm going through something quite personal, and I always teach best from my own personal experiences. And while it's still quite raw and very personal, I'm not going to go into detail, but there's something that I love about these times in life that just crack you wide open. It's like your soul is like, I've been waiting for this moment so I could show you your truth again and again and again and again. And I'm in that moment right now where I'm like witnessing and remembering my own truth, and it feels so sacred, actually, so precious. And it's really interesting because I'm noticing how I'm navigating my emotional field in a way that's new, because I've grown and learned so much over the last few years, and I'm being met with this new version of myself, of how I navigate things and how I respond to things and how I take the time to slow down and hold space for myself, especially in a world that doesn't really allow for a lot of that. I promised myself that I would do a little video check-in and Q&A and podcast episode for the first time in a really, really long time. I used to have a podcast called Redefine, and it was actually really popular. It was so beautiful. And then, maybe I should turn the sound down a little.
Love is everything, because love makes the world go round.
That's all right. Well, the magic touch over here. And I didn't have capacity to keep sharing, because I wasn't sharing from a place of fullness, of having the capacity to give back in the way that I want to. And I've really, oh my God, being in New York. Okay, so when I stopped recording the podcast, I was living in Mallorca. Then I moved back to the UK, and I was there for a year and a half. And then I was like, I feel so unsatisfied. And also I was living in a very small town, which in my mind thought was the right choice, but for my being was not good. I was good in some ways, but mostly it was just, I felt like I was filling time and not really living. And so I left, and that took me on a whole adventure which I don't care to discuss right now. But I'll put links underneath for you to catch up if you're not on the journey with me. If you're new to me over here. Ended up in Portugal for 6 months, and in that time fell in love, met my partner, came to New York to test it out, because his dream is to live here. And New York has been incredibly generous with me, incredibly caring and loving and generous. And one of the biggest gifts that the city has given me, and I do feel like she's a she, like New York feels like a she to me, but maybe I'm projecting, who knows, is the gift of clarity. I feel so much clarity around so many things, and like clarity in the messiness, like in the chaos. It's not like, oh my God, now I've figured everything out and it's all in line. No, it's more like, I love this sunshine, by the way, but it's also like in my eyes like this. And it is hot, it is warm today. Okay, back on track. Yeah, it's given me so much clarity around so many parts of myself and my being, my soul, my essence, my work. And one of those pieces was also that I'm here in service, which is like coming back to what I was trying to say earlier before I derailed myself, which is so common. Yeah, that I'm here to serve, and that's genuinely what I want to do. I want to give back. I want to contribute to this world. I want to make this world feel like a better, kinder, sweeter, softer, gentler, more calm place. And by doing that myself, first and foremost, like cultivating all of those things within myself and then bringing them out into the world. Yeah, wow, like the last couple of days have just cracked me open, and I feel like there's no coincidence. It's solstice, we're in deep cancer season, we're not even quite in there yet, but I feel it so strongly. There's this stuff moving, and I'm sure you're probably going through your own I was gonna say soul excavation. That's not the right word either. It's more like a shedding. It feels like a shedding and a clearing and like an opening to me. This life. I'm here for it though. Like you really have to get through the pain to get to the other side where there's like that joy and appreciation and love and all of those things. I promised I'd answer some questions, which I've collected. Let me get my laptop over here. See what I have to say, what I have to share today. Where was it? Interesting. Okay, found it. I am trying to decide which question to go with first. Okay, Barbara asked, "Hi Vienda, I wonder what your MBTI type is. Thanks for answering. Cannot speak. That's Myers-Briggs personality type, right? So I am an ENFP, extroverted, intuitive, feeling, perceiving. Of course I am. I feel like it's super obvious. I'm like, but when you're the extroverted, I remember I've done the test several times. I did it the first time when I studied psychology, and I've done it several times since, and it's always been the same. But generally, I'm quite like in the middle scale of everything. I'm not like absolute. I'm like extreme extroverted or extreme this or extreme that. There's like the feeling part and the intuition part are probably stronger, but my point is, like, I'm extroverted, yes. I love people so much, and I love expressing myself and being out in the world, but equally I like time to myself. And it's quite interesting, my partner left almost a week ago, yeah, about a week ago now, to do some travels, and after living together for just over 2 months, it was so good for me to have some space to myself and just be with myself and like simmer in my own essence. It's like I really missed myself. I am my own favorite person to spend time with, which is a lovely thing to be able to say, right? Yeah. I'm thinking a lot about relationships, obviously. Because I love love and I love romantic relationships and I love being in love and I love loving and I love being loved and all of those things. Like I have a lot of Venus in my chart. Love is very important to me, and friendships and relationships in general, but like love is it's always been a thing for me that I adore. But I also feel like the paradigms of how romantic relationships and nuclear family situations function in our modern day right now doesn't really work. Most of us are not feeling fulfilled or balanced or met or all of these things. And so I'm constantly thinking, like, what's another way that we can give ourselves and each other this beautiful, like that, I love love, like the beauty of deep and meaningful, intimate connection, while also giving each other the space to allow our souls to unfurl and to be and to exist and to move and bend and change and evolve in the ways that we're all supposed to. I think we get so like, I hate the word trapped, but that was very strong. It's not trapped, but I think we like contain ourselves into these little boxes of what we think is possible or how we think we should live. And ultimately, no one thrives from that. So I was like, in my romantic relationship right now, I'm not sure we can live together because it's just really, it takes such a toll on my spirit and my being, even though I love spending time with him. And, you know, all of the benefits of being in a romantic relationships are so wonderful. And then the downside is that we place these unrealistic expectations on ourselves and each other, and then wonder why we feel sad and unmet and challenged and all of those things. So, some of my thoughts that I'm moving through at the moment. Okay, so Myers-Briggs type, I'm an ENFP. I'd love to hear what you guys are, if you want to let me know. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna read this. Hey Vienda, with my laptop like this. Are you always 100% strategic with your content? Okay, business question. Do you ever hold something back that you created, wrote about your life, or wanted to share because it doesn't align with your brand or doesn't bring clear value to your audience? That's a really good question. It's something that I'm really toying with at the moment. I love transparency and I love telling stories and storytelling and sharing through my own experiences. And it's always been a big part of my work. I've started to feel like I don't want to call my body of work a brand, even though that's what people in business and marketing do call it. There's so much moving through me at the moment that I want to share. Like, I'm really shifting the way that I want to run my business, and not just like businesses, because I have more than one. Sorry, I'm getting really hot, and I'm gonna give my arms some sunshine. I'm really just, it's like you're in my living room with me, which literally you are in my living room with me. Anyway, what was I talking about? Why do I get derailed so easily? Because I'm a woman and I love to like, you know? Okay. I'm not strategic with my content in particular. I am strategic in terms of when I know I'm selling something, then I gear my content to make sure that it is aligned with the thing that I'm selling. But I'm always drawing from my current life and world and experiences and how I'm feeling. And so a lot of the time, what I'm selling is also a reflection of what I'm moving through myself. Like just recently, I ran a program called The Way She Knows. And it's something that I've been teaching for almost a decade, but I just repurposed it and repackaged it and delivered it in a new way. And I needed it as much as the 18 women who were in that group did, and it was so incredible. So like there's the line between the outward facing thing that you guys receive and my approach and me is quite thin. However, having said that, I am playing with holding onto more of that energy. I have noticed that I have a pattern of over giving and over delivering and taking too much responsibility. And I've learned that there's some, quite recently it's become very clear to me that there's some work here to do around how much I hold to myself and how much I give away. And like, I can relate this back to childhood trauma as a coping mechanism, like all the stuff. But also now I'm a mature adult. I'm the adultiest adult in my life. And so I get to navigate and negotiate this in a new way, and I choose to. I think it's time for even more spaciousness in the way that I show up. Thank you for asking that question. I didn't know it was going to take me here, but here we are. And then, how did the decision to not use your last name come about? Is it out of anonymity, or is it more identity / alter ego? That's a really interesting question. Okay, it's actually, I think, around energetics. Vienda is my first name, Maria is my middle name. That's what I've been using for my brand, my personal brand. But at the start of this year, my personal brand Instagram was hacked and stolen, and I was not able to retrieve it, and now it is defunct. So I've been starting again under the name Her Way Club, which feels nice because I like, actually, there's more distance and more separation. And I think one of the gifts that this happening is that life was like, yeah, it's time to create more spaciousness. Again, it's like a real messaging coming through that I'm noticing. And my surname, I feel distance from it because when I was 6, my mother married my stepfather, who then adopted me and then abandoned me. And so I still have his surname, which is actually a very pretty name. I like the name objectively, but energetically, it doesn't feel like, it comes from a man who didn't choose me. Ooh. Something that cracked wide open at the moment, and cracked wide open, and that's a beautiful thing, right? So yeah. So because of those circumstances, he left my life very quickly. And the thing is, it's not personal. He adopted 2 children before me, who he also abandoned. So there's something going on there for him. And so I still have his surname. I haven't chosen to change it. And maybe that's something I need to explore. I was not planning to cry in this video, but anyway, this audio depends on if you're watching the video or the audio version. Crying is good. So that's why I don't use my surname, because it's not really mine, and that's it. And I might change it one day. Like, my romantic heart is like, one day I'm gonna fall in love with a man whose name I love. And I'm really happy to take it. And that will be the thread of a new legacy, maybe. Very romantic thinking, and who knows, But I think that's kind of, I'm like, I want the surname of a man who does choose me. Okay, this has turned into like a full-on therapy session. Thank you for being here. Good questions. All right, shall we move on? I think we shall. Okay. Um, I'm reading. Bear with me. How do you move forward when you're moving through a lot of different changes and you don't know which way to go, when you don't know what your direction is? How do you move forward when you don't know what you're moving towards? Okay. Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, there's a big piece around allowing ourselves to be in the void, I think. I think people don't allow themselves to just be in the I don't know space for long enough, because the knowing or the direction or the answer does show up if you give it enough space and time to do so. I think we get so freaked out by the void that we rush into the next thing really quickly. And so, sorry, what was the question? How do you move forward when you don't know your direction? One step at a time, one day at a time, and don't allow yourself to not know, I think, is the answer. I spend a lot of time in this space where I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, I can feel the hair and it's tickling me and I don't like it. Yeah, just allow yourself to be in the void and to be in the unknown and not force yourself, because often the answers are not what you think they're going to be, and they're not going to be, they're not like what everyone else is doing, or they're not super tangible yet. And allow it to be messy. And this is something I struggle with myself from time to time, because I'm like aesthetically driven. I like everything to look and feel organized and clean and tidy and have like its place and its thing. Even non-physical things, I like them all to be like, have their little pots. But the reality is that sometimes we just have to, not sometimes, often we just have to release that desire for control, that need to know what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and everything to be tidy and organized and just so, because that's like us trying to make ourselves feel better, right? It's just trying to make ourselves feel some sense of not, well, I guess a sense of control. So when we allow ourselves to be in the like chaos, the mess, the unknown, that's where the new stuff can come through, the answers and the direction and the guidance and the knowing that we're seeking. It doesn't come from like grappling and fixing and trying and outsourcing. It comes from being with what is, and sometimes that's super uncomfortable. I get it, I know, because I am there more often than not, more often than I probably want to admit, but I've also realized that's what moves my life forward, and that drives me and allows me to access life and parts of myself very rapidly in ways that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. Okay, I'm going to do one last one because we didn't need to make this super long. How do you know when enough is truly enough? Ooh, I love this because I love the topic of, I love the topic of enoughness. I think the idea and concept of enoughness is often overlooked because we're so focused on the more, and like more is beautiful. We're expanding, expansive beings, and part of that is the journey towards more. But at the same time, I think we need to hold two truths in our hearts at the same time, that everything we have is enough, and the desire for more is part of our evolution and growth. And actually, like, we think that more is going to make us happy. I don't know, I'm doing like all these weird air quotes, but we think that more is going to make us happy, but it's actually, more is actually what drives us to growth and expansion. But it doesn't make us happy. In fact, the reverse is true. Enough, like feeling like we have and are enough is what makes us happy. It is what gives us a sense of peace and contentment. Okay. I think that's enough for today. I really, like, I promised myself I'd show up and imperfectly, and this is what we've got. I've got 4 days left in New York, and then a bit of a journey before, well, the idea is to be back in September, but let's see how things unfold, because there's lots in the ether that I'm waiting for it to fall into place. I'm gonna go to the Met today, actually, and then I'm very excited. I have a dinner on a rooftop in the West Village, which I'm looking forward to so much, with some friends. One is an old friend and one is a new friend, and their partners. I'm so grateful. Like, life is truly super generous and super kind to me. Like, I was gonna say give life credit, but like just be so grateful and appreciative for everything that I do receive, because I just realized I was not wearing my Oura ring. I don't know. I was like, wow, I'm naked. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you for being here and for witnessing me through my process just now, and yeah, being on this journey with me. I'm really excited, but like in a very I don't know how else to put it, like there's something really deeply anchored moving through me at the moment, and wow, I feel honored to be in communion with what is moving through right now. Okay, enough of that. I'm gonna go. Bye.